Well, it's really important to say that all the participants in these trainings, talking about civil society organizations, medias, public institutions, trade unions, economic chambers, etc., were really actively involved and were really active, talking on the debates, talking on the trainings, talking on the exercises that were given through the modules. And through that, they recognize the need and the importance for working on making these occupational safety and health standards better and improving the conditions. I'm really satisfied because they were really interested in all of the modules that were included within these trainings, and especially in the sphere of cooperation, communication, collaboration between the organizations, institutions and the media, which is really important nowadays in order to start creating and having news which are talking about the prevention in the sphere of occupational safety and health, and not only talking about the incidents that are happening occasionally or almost every second, third day in each of our countries in the region. All the civil society organizations and all the organizations and institutions in general have to bear in mind and to be open, transparent, and to include the audience and target groups in their work. That's the basic or the main principle that each organization should follow. It can be not expected only from the side of the media these topics and subjects to be covered. Especially the role of the organization and institutions is important in this process, because the role of the organization and institutions is very important to inform the audience, to tell them and inform them about their activities, their projects, what they have done, what is the need and the purpose of all these projects that are taken, and how the things should be changed in the sphere of occupational safety and health standards. Building professional relations with the media is one of the most important things that started through this project, started through this module, because we had opportunity to have participants from the side, by the side of institutions and organizations, but also by the side of the media. So they start working together, they get to know each other, and they share their contacts, which is the first thing, how they could start communicating and how they could start changing the things, which is the most important thing for the general public. To have European, to have bold occupational safety and health standards in all of the targeted countries in the region. Social media are widely popular, especially in the past decade, when they started being increasingly used by millions of users in Macedonia, in the region, and generally in the world. So it is really important to know that one of the advantages of the social media is having a real-time and two-way communication, as well as the possibility to have a micro-targeting options for advertising. Every organization should be aware that social media are not anymore free for advertising, so they should have a strategy, but also small or some budget for this functioning. My biggest recommendation for all organizations and institutions would be that they should create strategy for communication with the target groups and general audience through the social media, and to create an action plan, because if they want to gain desired results, they should have done their job professionally and to do their best. However, only combined strategy, which includes traditional but also social media, can give better results, and that was one of the things that we paid a lot of attention on these modules, because all the organization institutions has to be aware that different types of media have different population and audience. So if they want to achieve the results, if they want to promote their organizations, but also to improve the sphere of occupational safety and health standards, they should use traditional but also social media as different types of channels of communication. This is really important issue, and was discussed really at most maybe during the modules. But first of all, if you want to answer this question, it's important to answer the question of what sells the news. And we have to be realistic and admit it's politics, it's exclusive content, it's sensational news. And that's how the things are happening in the media, and that's not some secret. On the other hand, we have two facts that are really important. One of the facts is that nowadays editorial offices are not consisted of hundreds of journalists and hundreds of editors, but we have usually a situation where one journalist covers 2 or 3 different topics each day, which are not connected. For example, one topic can be occupational safety and health standards. 2 hours later, maybe some news conference concerning the economic growth, etc., etc. And that is the other thing we should be aware of when having and building relations with the media. And the third thing is the so-called inflation of information. Nowadays, all of us receive information from everywhere. We don't remember exactly where some of the information came from. For example, we say, I have seen it somewhere on Facebook, I have read it somewhere else. So we received information through the media, through the social media, going out in the cafes, in the mountains, having guests, etc., etc. So we have only several seconds to keep the interest of the audience. So if we want to change things, the role of the organization and institutions is the most important, because we cannot expect that some journalist or media will wake up one day and say, oh, I remember, I know this and this organization or this expert, and I will call him or her. That's why all the organizations and institutions must have a strategy to transfer information, to send information to the media, to have a good package of information almost every day or almost every week. Tell them what are they working on, what are the achievements, what are the problems that they're facing, and to ask the media to cover them. It's up to the media which topic will they cover, but if they build a professional relations, if they build a relation based on transfer of information and knowledge, then the media will have more opportunity to call them as guests, as speakers, and explain the situation in the sphere of occupational safety and health standards. We spoke some things about this. Actually, these trainings, these models, as I mentioned before, were really important because some of the organizations and some of the media, this was for them the first time sitting together on the same table, talking on the issue, sharing contacts, sharing experience, and talking about this topic. Continuation with these kinds of trainings and modules, that includes having together representatives of the media as well as representatives of the organizations, institutions, trade unions, etc. Actually, these trainings were the first time when these representatives went together, sitting together, sharing contacts, sharing experience, talking about the occupational safety and health standards, and what is most important, they will have opportunity to cooperate in the future. So if this kind of activities continue in the future, it will be a really good basics for better communication and cooperation. Also, was mentioned before, but I would like to stress it once again. All of the organizations working on the occupational safety and health standards have to know that it's their responsibility to build professional communication with the media, to use the social media as channels, as tools, to get in touch with their target groups, with the wider audience, and to work on changing the legislation in this field, to work on raising public awareness, and to work on making better conditions in the sphere of occupational safety and health standards.